कह रहे हैं।
Okay, now we have Pakistan's response coming to, in response to United Nations report on Kashmir. Pakistan seems to be welcoming this report pretty much on expected lines. Pakistan hailing UN motivated report on Kashmir. They are welcoming the proposal by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights to establish a commission of inquiry for international investigation, all right, into human rights violations in the Indian-occupied Jammu Kashmir. That is what Pakistan chooses to call it, Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan hailing the constituents of this report by United Nations. Well, remember, India has slammed this report. India has called it one-sided, completely fallacious, devoid of any facts. And Pakistan now releasing a formal statement hailing the report, hailing the report, human rights reports or violations in Kashmir, and also at the same time welcoming the proposal as per this report to set up a commission of inquiry for international investigations into what Pakistan chooses to call Indian occupied Jammu Kashmir. And in response to this, remember, India has already categorically not only slammed this, Snehesh, coming to you, India has categorically stated there is nothing, no entity like Azad when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir, hammering this point again and again that Kashmir will and Kashmir was an integral part of India. And this is not going to cut any ice when Pakistan, in fact, chooses to hail this report released by the United Nations. Just to go through some of the operative portions of Pakistan's formal response, it says references to human rights concerns in Azad Jammu Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan should be in no way construed to create a false sense of equivalence with a gross and systematic human rights violation in Indian-occupied Kashmir. In fact, Snehesh, isn't it laughable the way Pakistan chooses to justify this report by United Nations? Because they have so much to deal with in their own backyard when it comes to Baluchistan, when it comes to their own army, when it comes to the way they are dealing with India at the border and breaking ceasefire violations repeatedly.
Absolutely, Sakal, and there is no doubt about it, because Pakistan's stance is absolutely laughable, because the human rights record of Pakistan Army is pathetic. Remember what happens in Balochistan, what happens in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, what happens in Sindh, or what happens in even Pakistan occupied Kashmir is nothing but an absolute shame. Pakistan Army is the one which is responsible for the killing of thousands of minorities, the Shias, the Baluchis in Balochistan. They are kidnapped at any time of the day. They are tortured for years, and then their bodies with bullet wounds are found maybe 2 years after their abduction. This is the record of Pakistan Army, which uses tanks and gunship helicopters against its own people. And for Pakistan to come and talk about human rights is nothing but just purely laughable. The facts on the ground is that Pakistan Army has one of the worst human rights records possible for any army in this region. So when we talk about Kashmir, it is very important to understand that the biggest problem in Kashmir is terrorism. The biggest human rights violator in Kashmir is terrorism, and this terrorism is perpetrated, is funded and sponsored by none other than the Pakistani army, an army which is known for its worst human rights records. You can ask the Baluchis, you can ask the Sindhis, you can ask the Pashtuns, you can ask people in Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
That's right.
And they will bear testament to the kind of human rights violations that Pakistan does, Sakal.
And not only view human rights violations, the way they treat their own media who dares to question the dispensation there. Isn't that? In fact, Snehesh, I'm just going through the last portion of this report, if you have it. Let's also tell our viewers that how Pakistan seemingly continues to hammer this point that Kashmir is an international issue. And remember, United Nations earlier used to refer Kashmir as a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. So here you have another desperate ploy, desperate attempt, desperate measures by Pakistan to internationalize Kashmir issue. But that is not going to change the facts on the ground, Snehesh, isn't it? Because you also have served in Pakistan as a journalist. Could you please explain it to our viewers?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Pakistan can try and internationalize the Kashmir issue, but the fact of the ground is that Pakistan agreed that it was a bilateral, Kashmir is a bilateral issue between Pakistan and India through its agreement of the Shimla agreement. At the same time, you rightly mentioned about media. In India, every foreign media has absolute access to Kashmir. The report from Kashmir, whatever happens in Kashmir is reported. But is that the case in Balochistan? Even Pakistani journalists are not allowed entry into Balochistan. For example, right now, there's a huge protest that has been carried out by the Pashtuns, and none in the Pakistani media are covering it.
Yeah.
That is because
so they better
the
focus
Pakistani
on
army
that.
has told them not to cover it. Anyone who questions...
Snehesh, hold your thoughts. Snehesh, hold your thoughts, because we've got some